Okay. So participation is the antidote to having a relational business that's been thus far built in a transactional way. Participation is more of like the energy of visibility. The energy that you have, that you are like feeling into or rooted in, is I want to participate. And that alone is a scary thing. Because again, haven't really established the unshakable core within us that is like, I don't give a fuck. But the unshakable core, I don't know, maybe we'll talk about that maybe in the next episode. Okay. So essentially this map, I will explain this map because there's no way in hell I'm going to show this to anybody because you can't even read the handwriting. But essentially you want your reality to change. So whatever that is like happening, but we're going to keep it focused on like relational people, relational businesses. Because what I think you're going to understand is, even though we're talking about business, you're going to understand the difference. You won't be able to unsee it. How much the world is based off of transactional things and how you have been forced to fit in that box. When you are a relational person and there's so many little parts about your life that don't work in the transactionality part of life. And now you're going to be able to find different ways to do them to be more fulfilling for yourself. So essentially this map is, you want your reality to change, whatever that reality is. I want more clients. Let's just stick with I want more clients because we'll talk about the business part. But whatever it is, I want my reality to change. I want more money, yada, yada, yada. The next part is you want more clients, and then you think getting over your fear of visibility is the answer. So you want your reality to change, and you think that getting over your fear of visibility is the answer. Because in a transactional world, it's show up, offer, get money for it. And then my reality changes. If I can just sell one more thing, then my reality will change. And the in-between is, well, I guess I have to show up and be visible to make that offer happen. So here's the next part. You want your reality to change, and you think getting over your visibility fears is the answer, but it's not. Anyone can post into the void while living in a fishbowl. And this is my own turn of phrase, that fishbowl life. I'm living that fishbowl life. And I know you know what that means. You sat behind your phone, started posting, and everybody can see it, and nobody interacts with it over and over and over and over again because social media is a transactional business tool. The answer is participation in mutual reality. But you get stuck here because you know you lack an unshakable core, aka a solid sense of self. Without an unshakable core, participation, aka having people join you in the reality you want to create, means you have to deal with how to handle yourself inside of relationships. You were probably highly relational and never once was taught how to live with a relationship or inside a relationship. We just go with whatever we've seen on TV, whatever our parents have modeled for us, which probably was not appropriate for you, and living what you think you deserve, so you give what you want, like golden rule kind of thing. None of it is tied around an unshakable core or skills in being relational, in knowing how to hold yourself when life pushes back. So, next part of this map is, let me reread that last sentence again. Without an unshakable core, participation, aka having people join you in the reality you want to create, means you have to deal with how you handle yourself inside of relationships. And you don't trust that you know how to stay coherent with your dynamic nature while being in exchange with others. Can I remain in my vision while reality pushes back. Because what's the first thing that happens? Somebody doesn't understand your vision and you go, oh, right. You must be right. Where is that steadfastness in yourself and in the vision itself? You have to hold strong to that. Next part. Visibility keeps you looping in purity culture. Yeah, get this. Because it asks you to continually change yourself to change your reality. You're spiritualizing perfection. Let's explain this, okay? So I am not good enough yet. I have to change myself constantly in order to get the reality I want and deserve. How many times have you done that? How many times have you thought that you are the only person responsible for your reality? This shit drives me up the fucking wall. And on top of it, there are several astrological placements that will already make you feel over responsible. But the psycho-spiritual culture of our transactional world has said everything's on you. So it's hyper-individualized. It's rugged individualism. Everything is on you. Your reality is your fault. What a piece of shit thing to say. That's incredibly untrue, and I will do a whole episode on why that's untrue. But what happens is visibility keeps you looping because you think you need to change yourself in order to get the thing you want. If I could have just done this better, if I would have just met this person at a different level, if I would have just done this, if I would have done that, if I would have done this, if I would have done that, then I would get what I want. Girl, you do not need to change yourself anymore to create the reality you want, because there is no end to that. There's no end to that. And I'll say this here, and I'll probably say it again in another episode, but here's my story. I was constantly looping, constantly trying to change myself, constantly trying to be better, more refined. Just got to get more refined. Then you'll be ready. Then you'll be able to do the thing. But then one day I thought, okay, this is outside of business now. This is another thought. I was like, I'm ready to have another animal in my life. My best friend, he passed. And it's been a few months, and my other dog is lonely. And I'm like, what if I get a cat? Because a cat is a little less, the right cat anyway, would be a little less work than a dog. And still somebody to keep my other dog company and another presence to have around the house. And I love cats, and I'm a witchy lady, just give me all the cats. And the minute I decided that, there was a cat that was ready to come home with me. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to become more ready to be a cat. I hate the word owner, but we'll just use that for sake of simplicity. I didn't have to change myself, guys, for a cat to figuratively show up at my doorstep. I literally said it out loud, and the person in earshot was like, oh, I know a cat, and it was mine. I did not end up taking the cat. That's the other part of the story. But the point of the story is things can manifest immediately without you having to change yourself for it. I want you to hold on to that, because only a small, and I will do an episode on reality, but only, I have to guess, because nobody's done this study, but I would have to guess that under 50% of your reality is actually within your control. Control meaning, if I just do this, then I'll get that thing. In that whole that's a very transactional world as well, because the transactional world is based off hierarchy. And the theme behind hierarchy is, if I would do enough work, I will get to the top of the ladder. Guaranteed. It's a guaranteed thing. If I just work harder, I will get to the top of the ladder. So anywho, back to this visibility train here that I'm going on. If you want to be visible in your business, you keep trying to change yourself to do it. That's not the point. So let me reread. I've got 2 more steps to this map that I have here. I'm going to read the whole thing again. You want your reality to change. So again, probably clients. I want more clients. And you think getting over your fear of visibility is the answer, but it's not. Anyone can post into the void while in a fishbowl. The answer is participation in mutual reality. Again, mutual reality means there's more than just you making reality happen. But you get stuck here because you know you lack an unshakable core, aka a solid sense of self. Without an unshakable core, participation, aka having people join you in the reality you want to create, means you have to deal with how to handle yourself inside of relationships. And you don't trust that you know how to stay coherent with your dynamic nature while being in exchange with others. Can I remain in my vision while reality pushes back? Visibility keeps you looping in purity culture because it asks you to continually change yourself to change your reality. It's spiritualized perfectionism. Because if you're still unseen and not in the reality you desire, then something must be wrong with your frequency, or that inner work is a vending machine for external reality. Meaning, you must be fucking up. That's the belief. If we are hyper responsible and we believe that literally our entire reality is based on your own responsibility, which some of it is, but most of it's not, then when you don't have the reality you want, you're going to say, I must have fucked it up somehow. Instead of entering mutual participation in creation of a reality. Your reality is mutual participation, guys. It is not just you participating. It's mutual co-creative existence with other people, not spirit. I think we spiritualize manifestation way too much. You're co-creating with spirit. Okay, cool. You probably are on some level. I get that. But you know what would make your reality work even better is if you got off the couch, stopped talking to spirit, and talked to some other people. I know, I mean, because it's not your frequency that's wrong. See, this is where the purity culture shit comes in, because it just keeps on like, you aren't good enough. I didn't have to change myself or be better or gooder to get a cat, for a cat to just show up in my reality. I had to participate at the bar, on the river, down the street from me, in my village, and say, I think I'm thinking about a cat. And the person 2 seats over was like, I know a cat. Look at that. Didn't have to ask spirit for it. But also, I have also been going, you know what? Cat distribution system, bring me a cat, please. I'm ready. And then I had to participate in co-creative reality with another human being. It's more than just asking. Last bit. So that's the shame piece, basically. Like, I'm not good enough, so I don't get the reality I want. Last piece is you need an unshakable core that helps you participate. Inner work and healing reduces the friction between you and participation. Inner work helps you relate differently to reality. Inner work is there so you can participate, not so you can talk to spirit and co-create only with spirit. So the inner work part is for you to participate with reality that already exists differently. Because guys, when you relate to reality differently, you get a different result. But if you relate to reality as you always have related to reality, you continue to get the same results. And this is what I think karma is. Karma is a choice point. every time you have the opportunity to participate in reality, are you participating in the same way you always have? Or are you participating with a different frame of mind, a different perspective? Then maybe eventually your reality will actually start to shift because you get to participate in mutual creation. But if you're too afraid of other people because you're not unshakable enough in yourself, then you're not going to participate in mutual creation with other people. Can you meet it unshakably and in a different way than you have before in order to create this beginning part of this map? Oh, so you want your reality to change. Okay, you want your reality to change. You have to be able to participate differently. That's the jump. That's like going from step A to Z. But without the context, you might be like, well, how the fuck am I going to participate differently? So think about next time you want something. Ask yourself, do I believe I need to be different or do different in order to get the thing I want because I'm not good enough as is? Or do I just need a perspective shift on the current reality that exists and perspective shift on how I meet that reality? Do I just need some more work on becoming unshakable and some more skills on being relational or more skills, social skills kind of thing? And can I then start to create with other people? Can I find people that are safe people? Can I find people that maybe I've got this like system of how I figure out if this person's like more relational or more transactional, and maybe I only am making decisions toward relational people right now. Because if karma is a choice point and you make a different choice every single time, you get a different reality, you don't replay the same one, then maybe you can start to make choices toward relational living only and see where that gets you. Because somebody who is afraid of vulnerability is going to feel unsafe around most people. And it's normal. But the risk it takes to be vulnerable with someone you think might be safe will get you farther than hiding. Because if you know how to repair yourself in case this other person does hurt you somehow, then you won't be so afraid to rise up again and meet a challenge again. You won't be so afraid to rise up and be relational with another person again to try to create the mutual reality that you desire. Your reality is not, I almost said your meality like a cat. Just remember for this episode, you are allowed to get what you want without having the hyper responsibility of having to constantly be somebody better to get it.